Welcome back. It's so good to be back here once again. Thank you so much for being here. Recently in Korea, we've been having a lot of teacher suicides and working till death problems. As you may know, Korea is one of the leading countries in suicide rates. Not only that, but we have the lowest birth rate in the world. Less than one child per family. People are not getting married these days. And I think it's mostly due to overworking. The government just announced a possible 80 hours of work week from 60 hours. We have one of the longest work hours, and it's no different for the students studying all day. Parents and fathers are not spending time with their children anymore. We are becoming a fatherless society. Of course, I understand that you love your family and kids, and you wish you had more energy and time to spend time with them, explore life together, and teach them and encourage them and be there for them. Matter of fact, isn't that what life is all about? To appreciate God's wonderful creation, to have freedom to go on life journeys together, to be with their loved ones, to see the sunset, to be out there in the nature, experience the coolness of the air, go outside to the mountain and look at the sky instead of being in their office working all day, not being able to spend time with their children. Isn't this what life is all about? I believe that this is God's original purpose for us to enjoy this life. And today I want to go back to God's original intention, to remind you to turn to your heart, to live in your heart, to have more free time and give time to your son and daughters. One of the main reasons why we don't spend enough time in our hearts is that we work too much and don't have enough free time. This is very sad to see, and I know it's not mostly your fault. It's the government's fault. It's the world system's fault. I know you didn't mean to sacrifice your health, your family, your free time, and mostly even God, for merely money. You were caught in a delusion, stuck in your mind all day working. It's time to get your life back. Time to get your health back. Time to get your family back. Time to go back to God's original intent for us. It starts by understanding that you have a heart. We need to spend time here to be healthy in our spirit. Today, I'll teach you how to be healthy in your spirit, how to spend time in your heart. We need to understand the dividing of the soul and the spirit and practice living a balanced life in our mind and our spirit. Today, let's focus on the heart. A lot of people don't spend enough time in their hearts. I don't think it's healthy to live like this. We need to realize and be careful not to get caught up and trapped and be stuck in our minds all day. We have a spirit too, and it's essential we spend time in our hearts. So let's dive in, get right into it. Sometimes we as humans tend to neglect our health. We know that being healthy means not only for our body, but also our mind and our spirit. To have a healthy spirit, we need to spend more time here in our hearts. We need to understand the dividing of the soul and spirit. A lot of people tend to only be in their minds all day. Sure, God gave us a mind to use. Surely we can be in our minds and spend time here. But God also gave us a heart, our spirit. So we need to be balanced, give time for our mind, but also our hearts. Working too much and being in your mind all day will decrease your happiness and health. This is exactly what the enemy wants, to take away your time, trapping you to work all day like a slave, stuck in your mind, draining you with negative thoughts and negative people. What's really needed today is for people to have more free time from work and spend more time in their hearts, to go back to their first enjoyment. Just like when you were little, let's go back to the time when you were kids, being free, just living in your heart. Do you remember what life was about? Enjoying life and exploring, appreciating God's beauty, seeing the beautiful mountains and the beautiful sky, in awe with God's creation, experiencing life, being together with our family. I believe that this was God's original purpose for us, just to take pleasure and delight and enjoy this beautiful life and creation and nature and appreciate what God has made for us. I don't think God would say, "Look, I have made everything for you, the sun, moon, and the sky, and the clouds, and the mountains, and the river. Now spend all your day working in a cave." No. He would say, look what I have made for you. Enjoy it. Eat well and be healthy and happy with your family. We were made in His likeness. We are His masterpiece. He wants us to enjoy our lives. So, let's get into some deep teachings about the dividing of the soul and spirit. This is crucial for you to understand. Basically knowing when we are in our mind and when we are in our spirit. Imagine when you were a kid, your mom made you study and think and solve problems and be in your mind. Sometimes we didn't like being in our mind too much. It wasn't that fun and stimulating. Sometimes we just wanted to go outside and spend some time in our hearts and out in the nature, just exploring, enjoying, taking pleasure in enjoying life. This was the goal. No, this is the goal. Again, think of when you were a kid, playing outside, sometimes thoughtless, in the present moment, breathing and enjoying, exploring and looking for a leaf or going for a walk, spending time with your mother and father. This is your heart, a place of peace and joy. When you were outside, you were activating your five senses and stimulating your whole system. The sounds and the smell, your sight, to feel the breeze and the coolness of the air. Running and sweating and laughing all release certain feel-good bliss chemicals to activate your heart, spirit receptors. Even the healthy food you ate activated and stimulated your body, mind, and spirit. God's nature, like the sunlight, trees and the plants, food, and God Himself, all help activate and stimulate and boost our feel-good endocannabinoid system, our body, mind, and spirit system. So, what is the heart? What is the mind? Let's try to understand and clearly distinguish it. An example of knowing the difference between the mind and the heart is like a student who needs to decide which college to attend. Will he choose Harvard Law School or Stanford? Will he follow his heart and go to Harvard, or will he listen to his mind and choose Stanford because his dad went there and it's closer to home? We need to know and learn how to follow our heart. The more we spend time in our hearts, the more we will follow. I would say that a person who's balanced is somebody who spends half of the time in their mind and half of the time in their heart. I believe that this is fair and it's balanced. Sometimes, instead of working all day and too much, being occupied in our mind all day, it's crucial that we learn to spend time in our hearts, our spirit, where God dwells. Sometimes we need to go for a walk, lay down from our work, and lay down from our mind. Breathe in that fresh air, clear our mind and stop overthinking. Stop having negative thoughts, anxiety, and go listen to music. Pray and meditate, or go fishing or camping in the campfire. Have free time and have more enjoyment in our lives. The problem that I see is that there are so many workaholics. We don't have enough time for ourselves and others and God. We tend to neglect these areas in our lives, like health, family, friends, and God. Working too much is unhealthy, period. People seek work and money too much, being in our natural mind only too much. Sometimes, like I said, we need to have free time and spend time in our hearts. There are so many people that are not happy and not healthy because they're spiritually ignorant and they don't know how to connect with their inner self. I think God does not intend for us to be a slave to our mind and work all day too much. Spending more time in our spirit with our children and family and friends, brothers, is far better than being stuck in our office at work or our mind all day. We need to be balanced and have rest time, good sleep time, free time to enjoy our life, but also work hard. Again, enjoy our freedom and work hard, be balanced. Also, half of the time in our mind and half of the time in our hearts. Balance. Don't let anyone take your free time and freedom. Don't be stuck in your mind all day. Don't sacrifice sleep, your health, your daughter,
I miss you.
and God for money too much. This is my burden today. It's disappointing to see fathers not being able to see their children.
Daddy.
A father who's
Daddy's
always
gonna go
busy and
home.
tired, working at the office all day, no time with God, no time in his spirit. Think about it. Your son needs you. No time with your son. You need to teach him and love him and encourage him and spend time with your son. Isn't that the best? Watching him grow and laugh and enjoy life together instead of being in your office at work all day at a factory, putting some stickers on some boxes just for some money, like a machine, like a slave all day. I see a lot of fathers who live away from their family because of commute time. Their work is basically too far, so they choose to live separately, separate from their wife and children. In most cases, I see this as a mistake. You should have followed your heart and bring your family to live near you or get another job. It's not worth sacrificing and not being able to be there for your children. That's not what life is about. There's so many ways to make money. You only have one daughter, one son, and limited time on this earth. Why would you want to sacrifice your children? Why would you want to not be there for your children and spend time with computers and customers all day? You got limited time. Don't you want to see your daughter experience life
Daddy.
and see her grow and help her become a good girl? Experience life together, enjoy vacations, family trips. We need more time. Money is not everything. Of course, I do understand and have sympathy for young fathers who has good intentions to work hard and basically ignorantly got deceived and neglected their children and their health. But what about the people who are addicted to work and money, neglected their children and health and God intentionally because they loved money so much? Shame on these people for loving money over everything else. Shame on the dual income parents who put their kids in daycare centers all day, letting others raise their kids because they're too busy with making money and working. I know a lawyer woman who has a husband that is a doctor. They make pretty good money, plenty. The mother made a choice to leave her 3-year-old with her grandmother all day instead of raising her on her own and enjoying this beautiful life with their kids. Instead, she's in the office dealing with criminals and having stress all day. What a foolish decision this is. She had plenty of money. Her husband was a doctor. He made enough money. Why would you want to sacrifice your children over more money? This is a serious sin, and you will be punished. Punished. Work and money is not everything. Seek God first, and everything will be added to you and given to you. He takes care of all the animals, and He takes care of us, and this is His promise. We will live happily and healthy and have free time, enjoy life and the nature with your family, and hopefully you can find your calling, your true calling one day, and your true work one day. I don't think putting stickers in boxes is your true calling in life. Once you make enough money, I believe that we all need to do God's work. I think God's original purpose for humans is to enjoy all His creation, to enjoy everything together with their family. God created the plants and the trees and the mountain, the forest and the lake, the beaches and the ocean, the beautiful sunset and the calmness of the sunset. Everything for humans to enjoy and take great pleasure in. What's the point of working all day if you can't even enjoy your life? Spend time with your family, enjoy and breathe as you go. We don't even have time to eat a proper lunch meal, yet alone take a walk and take a break. Just like your son wants to spend more time with you, God is the same. He desires to spend time with us. But we are so busy, so stressed, so depressed, so worried because we haven't found balance in our life. Having time for enjoyment and working hard is balance. Both. That's the key. Half of the time we should work hard, and half of the time we should have freedom to pursue God more, take care of our health, spend time with their family and children, and have more time for our enjoyment and pleasure. So how do we even divide our time for sleep, free time, and work? Well, I personally like to think of the 8-8-8-hour rule. 8 hours of rest and sleep, 8 hours of free time, and 8 hours of work. I think this ratio is fair. So let's talk about how we can use our free time. 8 hours of free time should be divided for God, family, self, and health. This freedom will allow you to spend more time in your heart and in your spirit. Ideally, I try to spend at least 2 hours with my son and daughter. 2 hours outside, one with the nature, exercising and being healthy. 2 hours with wholeheartedness, submission, absolute quality time with God. 2 hours alone time for my own pleasure. Work on my hobbies, look at my phone, use the computer. This means that I can take care of my health, spend time with my kids, spend time with God and do God's work, all at the same time by playing and chasing my children outside, getting nature time and exercise while breathing in and praying to God in my heart, enjoying an activity together with my church brothers, building fellowship, singing and eating a feast together in a particular day. The truth is, we need to be healthy, period. And these are the things that make us healthy. Isn't this what life is all about? Just for a bigger house, a new toy, a new car, a new clothes, we spend most of our time in the office. Is money and materialism more important than building God's church and being with your family together, feasting and enjoying life together, being happy and healthy? I know a doctor who is miserable and depressed. When he was a young boy, he always wanted to be a doctor because doctors made a lot of money. He didn't really think about the work that a doctor has to do. So he pursued it and got it. He studied really hard, sacrificed his hobbies, friends, family, and basically studied hard in the schooling system. And he became a doctor. But soon, he realized that dealing with sick people all day, dying people all day, seeing people cry in his office, all day from morning till night, for years and years, no days off, working 14 hours a day. Was this really his dream job, or did he make a foolish decision and perhaps followed his mind, followed money instead of his heart? Maybe this wasn't his true calling. Now, some people are called to be doctors, and we appreciate that. Hard work and sacrifice. But if your true calling wasn't to be a doctor, and you're depressed and you're miserable and you're working all day and you cannot get out of that trap, set them free. I also know so many Korean students who study so much. They study all day, every day for 10, 20 years. Basically go to school, and after school they go to the academies, and after the academies they go home and do homework until midnight, and then they have to wake up early in the morning to do it all over again the next day. Barely functioning, no energy, no health, health declining, no time for anything, no time for friends, no time for family. This hard work, extreme mentality,
Where does it come from?
Comes from our parents' generation.
Speak
I
that.
understand they were poor and they needed to find a way out and to provide for their family. And obviously this mentality or approach to life is not balanced, nor healthy, nor does it make us happy. I mentioned earlier that the government in Korea just raised the working hours to 60 hours. Now they want to increase it even further to 80 hours. This is crazy, guys. That's basically 14 hours a day of work, 6 days a week. The government wants us to have more babies so you can work all day.
We need more workers.
Because, people are not getting married these days or having kids. Korea has the lowest birth rate in the world as of 2023, and other countries are showing similar trends, no marriage, no kids, no God, no health, only work, only self, and only unhealthy pleasures.
We're going the wrong way.
We are a selfish generation, period. They are a slave to money. Their boss demands their time for money. 90% of their life is work, and 10% is a little pleasure they get after work with their little Netflix and YouTube, TV. 0% time with God. Not enough time with their kids, family, our health. Basically sacrificing all aspects of our lives for a little bit of more money, and because the government demands it. Shame on the government for wanting to overwork us like a slave, making us work till death. Another trend that I'm seeing these days are people in China, college graduates not being able to find work. They felt betrayed and realized the broken worldly system. These rebellious kids are fed up with the world system, and now they're rebellious. They no longer want to work at all. Instead, they lay around in their small one-room apartments, ordering delivery food all day from the money they got from their parents, watching Netflix and being in their phone like a phone addict all day, having no time for God, no work, not spending time with family, no marriage, their health declining, only pleasure. That's all they seek, only pleasure, and addicted to alcohol or junk food and silly entertainments. Why do we see these extreme cases of working too much or working none at all? Why can we be more balanced and more responsible and more upright? Instead, we are too extreme one way or the other, working too much or having too much free time for only pleasure. Both will lead you into a deep hole of emptiness, shallowness in your lives. I've been there on one side of the extreme and the other side of the extreme myself. Again, I think the key is to find balance. Our health is declining and we are aging and dying because we are not balanced, not healthy. We sacrifice family and have no free time, or we have too much free time and don't work hard. Either way, both of these extreme situations will lead you to neglect your spiritual health. For me, if I had to prioritize between family, health, God, money, and pleasure, it would have to be God first, health second, family third, pleasure, free time, enjoying nature, exploring life is fourth, and lastly, work for money. That's right, pleasure and enjoyment and free time over hard work and money. I believe that that's how it's supposed to be. I picture the golden age, the richest period where the Romans, they basically had everything they needed, health, wealth, prosperity. And the first thing they did when they woke up is not think about work. They would go to the Roman bath and, wash themselves and spend time in the water, the hot water, cool water, warm water, and cold water, and the steam rooms. It's proven that the sauna, it's so beneficial for your body and your whole being meditating in the sauna. After the hot room, the steam room, you jump into the cold water. That cold water gives tremendous amount of energy. Maybe after the sauna and the Roman bath, they would go outside and enjoy the nature. Perhaps, sit under a tree and read a book. This is the lifestyle that I picture, and how wonderful this life is. And they would go eat a feast and eat a nice meal, eat some grapes, and again see some entertainment, go play some music, draw some pictures, maybe do some farming or gardening work, spending time with their loved ones and taking a rest, going on a little journey for the day, and then nighttime they would meet up again, fellowship, sing a song, or talk to each other and enjoy the dinner time, and then go home and turn on their candle lights and pray to God and read a Bible or read a book. What are we doing? Sacrificing our enjoyment of this life, God's original intent for us. Enjoy your life. Be happy and healthy. Be free and seek God, and everything else will fall into place. It's not work first, it's pleasure first. And it's not pleasure first, it's God first, and our health and our family. Perhaps King Solomon said it the best. He had everything. 1,000 wives, 1,000 animals, and hundreds of sheep and goats and donkeys and workers and slaves. And he had a tremendous wealth and experience and wisdom. His basic teaching is that we need to enjoy life and work hard. I'm gonna conclude this by saying one of the most important reasons why we need more free time and to enjoy our life is to feed our spirit. You feed your spirit with food. God made food, aromas from the plants, the word of life, spiritual practices like meditation and prayer with music. Music has a direct frequency with your heart. Singing and walking and thanking God. God is dwelling in our hearts. We need to nourish and feed our spirit by breathing in, doing exercise and breathing deep so that oxygen can help your brain release bliss molecules. We need to experience being infused and saturated and permeated and releasing certain feel-good chemicals in our hearts, our heart receptors. We need to be filled and eventually full in our hearts, where you will have more love for others. You will feel more joy in your heart, feel happy. I believe that this is a spiritual matter connected to God. If we learn to do this, I believe we can certainly be more healthy in our heart, our spirit, that is. It will help you to have to live good and have a good conscience, to be more pure and upright and more righteous and good, having, a sharpening intuition. The more you spend time in your spirit, like I said, you have more heightened awareness, more sensitive intuition, like the unveiling, and that you can see the hidden things and how people perceive you and how you perceive others. You can see the deception. One time I went to an outlet with my family. It was near Las Vegas, a middle of the desert where there's a lot of tourists, and I saw some Chinese tourists. They were shopping, and of course, it was busy. They had like 4 cash registers, and people lined up. And I noticed that the cash register worker was talking to this Chinese customer, and she was checking out. And the cashier was saying like, okay, so, did you have a nice day? Thank you. Yes, the Chinese customer replied. And then the cashier mumbled again, like, oh, so you want a receipt? And she said, do you want to pay $25 for the donation? I heard that, really quick, in a deceptive, manipulative way, trying to trick them. And the Chinese person said yes. And so she said, thank you very much, and here's your receipt, bye-bye. And so I saw that, deception. You can see these things much easier. Now, how was I able to see that when everybody was just in their own head, looking at their phone or in their thoughts, anxious, and nobody else saw it? I was in the present moment, just not in my thought at that time. I think I was touching my heart, because you never know who you're gonna meet. Somebody who's neutral and in the moment always wins. It's not the person who's talking out of their mind and being in their mind and thought. Sometimes in God and in the moment and in your heart is better. So going back to that story, and so what I did was I told the cashier I had this bonus, because at that time I was on vacation, and so during these journeys I am mostly filled a lot. And so I told the lady, I said, excuse me, did you just ask her for donation for some money? And she didn't even understand what you were saying, and you just basically literally took some money from her without really explaining things to her? Is that what you guys are doing here? This is like, conning people out of $25. Like, what are you guys doing here, please? So I corrected them and rebuked them, and of course they were dead, just silent and looking at each other, and like couldn't believe somebody said that to them. So you see, if you're healthy in your spirit, then like I said, your awareness heightens, and you can stand up against the evil and not only have a shield to protect yourself, but have a sword and speak the right word and speak the truth and speak goodness. Because if they're doing the bad things, evil things, they will be exposed and corrected immediately. And so we need to not only correct people, but encourage them and build them up and love them. I think this is balance. Man, if you're happy and healthy, man, you're in a good mood and you want to help people and love people, you're not always having a whip. You're just good to people, man. You just want to talk to people, you want to help people, you have this full energy, more energy to listen to them and encourage them and be there for them and love them. We have this patience and love, and this is what's missing in today's world, and we need more of that, guys. So my final thought is, learn to spend time in your heart, free from too much thinking, and it can heal you and help you to grow spiritually. In this way, you can live in the highest standard of morality and living in the highest virtues and being a masterpiece for God and a warrior with the full armor. You deserve to be happy and healthy and enjoy your freedom with your family.
Somewhere there's a paradise where everyone finds release. It's here on earth and between your eyes, a place we all find our peace. It's just a place we call paradise. Each of us has his own. It has no name, no, it has no price. It's just a place we call home. A dream that reaches beyond the stars, the endless blue of the skies. Forever wondering who we are, forever questioning why. There shines a light in the heart of man, defies the dead of the night, a beam that glows within every soul, like wings of hope